Stop. Just for a second. Look at your hands. Touch the table in front of you. Everything feels solid, real, tangible, doesn't it? But what if, deep down, it was all just an illusion? Doesn't that remind you of something?
This is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Right now, we're inside a computer program?
Is it really so hard to believe? Your clothes are different, the plugs in your arms and head are gone. Your hair has changed. Your appearance now is what we call residual self-image. It is the mental projection of your digital self.
This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
A few days ago, I watched an interview that made me rethink the very origin of our world. It was about simulation theory, the idea that we are living inside a giant computer program. It was on the Diary of a CEO podcast. The guest, Roman Yampolskiy, isn't a guru or a sci-fi writer. He's a world-leading AI safety expert, a brilliant analytical mind basing his claims on serious mathematical probabilities.
So your belief is that this is probably a simulation?
Most likely. And there is a lot of agreement on that if you look again, returning to religions. Every religion basically describes what? A super intelligent being, an engineer, a programmer, creating a fake world for testing purposes or for whatever. But if you took the simulation hypothesis paper, you go to jungle, you talk to primitive people, a local tribe, and in their language you tell them about it. Go back 2 generations later. They have religion. That's basically what the story is.
After watching that video, I asked myself, what would it change for our spiritual quest if we were truly in a matrix, like Neo or Trinity? If we were just avatars, digital representations in a game whose rules are hidden from us? In that case, would our thirst for truth be nothing more than a system error? Or a line of code embedded by a creator for a specific purpose? And above all, what would be the point of seeking deep meaning in our lives? Love, compassion, the soul itself? Would they all just be algorithms? What happens to God, to our beliefs, and to our precious free will? Welcome to Forbidden Frequency. Make yourself comfortable. Together, we are going to try to hack the code of our own reality. Before asking if a spiritual quest makes sense in a simulated world, we should first ask, why this quest? Why have so many humans throughout history felt this need for transcendence, while nature seems to do just fine without it? Could spirituality be a human invention tied to our self-awareness while the natural world thrives in its absence? A tree or an animal exists without looking for hidden meaning. They live in the pure present. Our spiritual quest might just be a manifestation of an ego that refuses to be a mere part of the biological cycle. We invent a soul, a god, or a programmer because we struggle to accept that our existence might be a coincidence without a specific goal. We don't want to face the fact that we might have no more importance or intrinsic value than an ant or a plant that only aspires to exist and survive. This is what psychologists call the need for teleology, the human tendency to assign intent or purpose to everything that happens. We refuse to be just data in a cycle. We want to be the hero of an epic. But what if, in the end, we had no more value than a green plant reaching for a bit of light to survive, our spiritual quest would then be our most beautiful lie, a way to avoid facing the void. Let's go further. If we are in a simulation, a massive algorithm, then every action is the result of a line of code. Nothing is left to chance. Every event, including our thoughts, is the result of a prior cause. This is what philosophers call determinism. Consequently, our urge to meditate, our need to pray, or our search for truth would be nothing more than pre-programmed functions. It's what we call a category error. Trying to find the sacred in a simulation is like trying to find a religious consciousness in your Excel spreadsheet or your GPS. It's a technical structure, not a temple. Injecting morality or merit into an algorithm makes no sense. If our awakening is already written in our source code, then our quest has no real value. In that case, we aren't searching. We aren't deciding anything. We are simply executing a command. Furthermore, is there really anything beyond what we are experiencing now? Atheism argues that the universe is governed by physical laws, not moral intent. Has anyone truly gone to the other side long enough to know for sure? Is there concrete evidence of life beyond the simulation or beyond earthly life at all? Some might point to NDEs, near-death experiences, millions of people who have glimpsed the other side. But skeptics and neuroscientists have a much more down-to-earth explanation. When the brain lacks oxygen, hypoxia, it releases a cocktail of chemicals to protect itself. This creates powerful hallucinations, the tunnel of light, the feeling of peace. These travelers may have never left the program. They simply experience the swan song of a biological system shutting down. It's a chemical reaction, not proof of a spiritual central server. Finally, let's look at the validity of this theory. The simulation hypothesis relies on probabilities, not tangible proof. Nick Bostrom posits that statistically, we are more likely to be in a copy than in the original. Roman Yampolskiy goes as far as saying he is 99.9% sure we are in a simulation and that we could hack it using artificial superintelligence, ASI. However, according to some scientists like Frank Wilczek, this theory is computationally infeasible. Simulating an entire universe with every atom, every quantum interaction, and every consciousness would require an amount of energy and matter greater than that of the universe itself. Therefore, unless the real world, the one simulating us, has entirely different and infinitely powerful laws of physics, a complete simulation is technologically impossible, even for a super AI. And yet, if nature is content to simply exist, the human being is gifted with a consciousness that relentlessly questions its origin. Even if this quest is born of the ego, doesn't it become a vital necessity to avoid chaos? Because whether we are made of carbon or silicon, the question remains the same. Who turned on the light? Why are we here? Look closely at the simulation hypothesis. Beyond the calculations, it's just a new metaphor for a concept humanity has carried since the dawn of time. Whether we speak of the grand architect, the great spirit, or God, the structure is identical. In Yoruba cosmology, Orin represents the spiritual realm and Aye, the physical world. It has always been taught that the visible world is but a shell, hiding the invisible. For an African sage or a First Nations elder, calling our world a simulation or a creation is the same thing. In India, they speak of Maya, the magical illusion. The Dogon people in Mali say the Creator wove the universe. Modern science is only confirming an ancient intuition. If we are in a simulation, it doesn't shatter faith. It gives it a new language. The programmer is just a modern name for the creator. Figures like Buddha or Jesus would be avatars sent with admin access. An NDE would simply be our consciousness momentarily disconnecting from the local server. The tunnel of light? A loading bar toward the central cloud? But you might ask, what's the point of seeking wisdom if everything is virtual? The answer is simple. The search for meaning helps us live better here and now, regardless of the nature of here. This is what philosophers call phenomenology. Behind this complex word lies a simple idea. What matters isn't what the world is objectively, but how we inhabit it. Imagine playing an immersive video game. Even if you know the walls are pixels, if you help another character, the emotion you feel is 100% real. This brings us to Pascal's wager. We have everything to gain by living with altruism, compassion, and love. Morality isn't a line of code we are forced to follow. It's the conscious choice to make the simulation more beautiful. Isn't that worth the effort? The simulation hypothesis doesn't close the door. It opens it to Aristotle's unmoved mover. If we are in a software, who programmed the programmer? The spiritual quest becomes an ultimate investigation to find the glitch in the code and connect with the intelligence that designed it. Seeking meaning in life is like looking for a Wi-Fi connection to the divine. spirituality isn't a system error. It's the interface that keeps us from being mere automatons. The compassion, love, and desire to become better are the only things that cross the screen. Asking why is our greatest victory. It's the spark that proves the avatar has a heart and a reason to be. In the end, meaning is no longer data to be discovered, but an internal creation to be embraced. Deciding the value of our actions is our only shield against chaos. One question remains: why? Who created the one who created us? Perhaps that is where the true magic of the game lies. Thank you for sharing this moment on Forbidden Frequency. Don't forget to subscribe and share your theories. I read them all. Until then, stay curious.